rFactor 2 has just released its Q3 content drop. I'm going to go into detail with the patch notes in another video, but I wanted to really focus in on one particular part of the update that I just love. As a nerd, as a sim racing enthusiast, as a racing enthusiast, it's just something that I wanted to make an entire video on. It's not going to be all that long. It's just to let people know that it's there because I think it's very cool, and I think a lot of people will like it. A lot of people won't because that's just how us sim racers are. You either love or you hate one sim or another. You love iRacing, you hate it. You love rFactor 2, you hate it. But this is one particular thing that I wanted to bring to you guys, and that is RealRoad 2.0. Now, I've always been a huge fan of rFactor 2 because I've always felt like good driving discipline rewarded me generally within rFactor 2. I learnt how to lift and coast in rFactor 2. I learnt how to be delicate with the tyres in traction areas and in corners and not to scrub them too much and things like that, and really make the tyres last through a stint and really look after them, and also how suboptimal it is to be late in a fairly long race and try and do an overtake off the racing line as opposed to the rubbered in line, things like that. But with this Q3 content drop, we get this RealRoad 2.0. And again, this is a bit nerdy, but it also, if you play games like Formula One, this might be a little bit of a eye-opening exercise for you, just to the difference really between a pretty decent racing game and then you've got a sim. And this isn't my sim's better than yours, but I always struggle to convey what the difference is, and it's stuff like this. The level of detail is unbelievable. And as they say, the track surface itself is really, really important in real racing. It's not a static proposition. It changes. It's a living thing, basically, within a race. And within this new update, what they've done with all tracks is add more elements of dynamic functionality. So where the surface temperatures and levels of grip, they change and they're influenced by factors. Temperatures can change on the surface by geographical location, cloud cover, time of day, ambient temperatures, and heat transfer from cars running over the surface of the tarmac. Okay, so just think about that for a minute. Off the racing line, the track will be cooler because there's less cars, or it could be hotter if it's really baking with sun, I guess. So it affects that kind of thing. Now, I did a little bit of checking because it was my understanding that iRacing did similar some time ago, but I've been told that they disabled that. You can let me know down in the comments, but I'm told that they disabled that and just put it as a little note in one of their patches. I don't know the validity of that. Please do let me know. Because I'd be super interested in that because I thought it was very cool when iRacing brought it in. But if they've disabled it, I'd be very interested to know why. So that's ignorance on my part. Let me know down in the comments about that. But what this does mean is it produces varied amounts of tyre wear, depending on those factors, but also it expands how wet tracks dry or dampen over time, and covered areas are less likely to change surface behavior as quickly as those open to the elements. So if you've got a bridged area, for example, I guess coming through the final sector of Brands Hatch towards the final corner, you've got that bridge over there. That's undercover, so that part of the circuit will be cooler because it's in the shade. It won't get wet and things like this. And I just love this level of detail in Sims. When you get things like this, situations like this, it's just a layer which people maybe don't think about, but it's just simulations taking it to a crazy degree. It's fantastic to see. I'd love to know down in the comments if you've tried out the new update from rFactor 2 and where do you rank rFactor 2? I know a lot of people find it a bit clunky to get set up with all of its like add-ons and things like that, but honestly I think it's getting a lot better now they've changed to this quarterly update cycle because we're getting really big chunky updates. But yeah, there's RealRoad, and I think it just demonstrates when people ask, well, what is the difference between these PC simulations and I don't know, a Formula One on console? It's this kind of thing. It really is a simulation, and it really does go to a whole new level. I'd love to know your thoughts. Do let me know down in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.